Right, what is up, you guys? Welcome back to yet another walk and talk. Loving these ones at the minute. The only difference today is, I don't know if you can see this, is I am sweating absolutely ridiculously because the summer heat, I should say, has finally arrived. And let's just stop this just a second. See if you can turn around and have a look at this behind me. Doesn't that look cool? This is why I love this area. Anyway, welcome back to another video. I guess you've already seen by the title what we are talking about today, and that is because it is current hot topic news. And I thought, although there are other people that have done a lot better job at this than me, I know I've already put videos out. For example, my good friend Simon Barnes, he's explained this a lot more technically than I could have. So I'll link his video just up here. You should definitely go and watch his video for sure. He's done it in a very cool yet informative way. I just thought I'd, share my take on this whole situation with you. By the way, as well, we are out in the park where they play the music unnecessarily loudly. Side note to somebody who got upset in the comments last time, saying, "Oh, you mean, that's classic Chinese blah, blah, blah music. It's not obnoxious." I was like, it's not actually meaning that the music is obnoxious. In fact, it's quite nice, it's quite pleasant, but obnoxiously loud was the phrase, my friend. And that means when it is played so loud, you can hardly hear yourself think. It's not an insult to Chinese music. So yeah, FYI, you were wrong. Let's keep moving on anyway. Today's topic, as I said, and as I've deviated from a few little times here now, is the current situation in Beijing. Is this a second wave of COVID-19? COVID-19 literally almost gone here now, and then this has reared its head again. So is this a problem? And let's just stop once more. I know I keep getting distracted by this, guys, but let's take you around here behind me. There's a bunch of really cool boats here. This is why I keep coming down here. Maybe I should stop getting distracted by everything. Maybe I should go somewhere really boring sometime, just walk along the street instead. But yeah, so there's been a bunch of outbreaks in Beijing. And it's been the last couple of days, I guess that's the last 3 or 4 days. I'm not really too up on exactly when, because I'm a busy guy. I don't have time to keep track of dates and times, but it's been the last few days. And I think currently right now, there is 107 new cases, and there's potentially a lot more. Because I think a lot of the cases which were already discovered have been asymptomatic, which means they've been walking around without knowing. Like they haven't actually been exhibiting any of the symptoms. So that could be pretty bad because, I mean, it's pretty awful that it would be spreading around. They would be basically going about their daily lives without even knowing, without even realizing they had COVID-19. So then they could have spread it to a lot more people. And I think what it's actually been discovered so far is that it has come from another wet market. Oh, wet markets right now are kind of like shading themselves. It's something to do with salmon, I believe. As far as I know, it's to do with salmon on a chopping board, and as such, they have shut down and completely locked down this whole area of Beijing. Now, I know that historically, like if you look historically, there've been several bad epidemic / plague / outbreaks of some kind of bad disease, where actually like the second wave, so to speak, after people think that it's all dying down and it's gone, has actually killed more people than the first, and actually being the really deadly one. Like this was the case in the Spanish flu outbreak of is it 1903? Not too sure on the exact date. But yeah, either way, with Spanish flu, I know that after the initial hit of the virus and all the people died, and then they thought they were getting back on track, and they relaxed quarantine kind of conditions, like the quarantine restrictions were lifted too early, I guess, and it all broke out again. And then I think the deaths for the second wave were actually a lot more than the first time. But is this going to be the case this time? I don't think so. I honestly don't think so. I think it will be quelled super fast and dealt with super easily. I think it's gonna not even get back as far as other cities. I think maybe some around Beijing, maybe there's a possibility it could come back to Wenzhou. Like last time, this is the thing, Wenzhou featured as the second worst hit city outside of Wuhan last time because in the first round, so to speak, and that was because so many people from Wenzhou were traveling to and from Wuhan or working in Wuhan, because Wuhan is like a hub city. Where it is situated is somewhere right in the middle of a whole bunch of like other cities and other kind of, I don't know if you call it like a thoroughfare, but other ways it was like a hub city. People would go to work and make money. And there was a large amount of people from Wenzhou here that had been there. And that's why Wenzhou had been hit so hard, because I think 30,000 people came back to Wenzhou carrying the virus, and subsequently it was hit pretty badly. I think there's actually a couple of 100,000 people which actually from Wenzhou go there, but I don't know if all of them come back or if they've gone elsewhere, or if they were quarantined. But it was pretty bad. And then this time there is a city called Rian. Rian, if you know anything about Wenzhou, it's a small city, and I say small in China terms here, because we all know how China small cities equal way bigger than any kind of British city. Like Wenzhou here, 9.6 million, and it's considered a small city. That's bigger than the biggest city in, well, it's bigger than London. London's 8.6 million. So yeah. Anyway, I digress. So this time, it turns out that a lot of the people which are in Beijing are actually there from Rian. Rian is this city which is in Wenzhou County. Wenzhou County extends out like 4,000 square miles, I think. It includes Wenzhou, all of the city, all of the downtown area, and all of the outlying counties. And it is one of those cities. In fact, my mother-in-law is from Rian. So once again, somehow, Wenzhou gets involved in this whole kind of COVID thing, which is, yeah, it's awkward. So anyway, guys, back to the topic. Do I think this is going to be a second wave? Absolutely not. Because when it kicked off with the first wave, there was an initial small period at the beginning where obviously maybe or maybe not, we don't know, numbers weren't reported. This wasn't, people tried to kind of hide it under the rug. Not sure about that, so I'm not going to comment on it. But whatever happened, there was an initial like week or two when it wasn't really public knowledge, and it took China a little, like a week or two to catch on to it. I mean, now overall, in my impression, they did and have handled it the best in the world, because I mean, it's got back on track, and I've mentioned this in other videos, but essentially I think China handled it a lot better than a lot of other countries. And I mean, if you look at America right now, they're not looking like they've handled it too great here. In fact, they look like they've handled it pretty awfully. But yeah, I think that the first time they weren't really up on it because it caught them off guard. Nobody knew it was coming. It wasn't expected. Whereas this second time round, China had already got into, over the last 5 months, a very good routine of dealing with all the problems and dealing with them fast. That's the thing. People here are more compliant, and when the government says stay in your house and don't come out, you can only come out every couple of days to get some supplies, you need to be quarantined. People are kind of more compliant to it, whereas in America and the West, you saw people still partying on the beaches and generally arguing more about their freedom and everything else. So I think that China did a sterling job of that, and then as an ongoing thing, China has also kept on at it and kept on improving stuff. It's kept the measures in place. It's kept checking. It's kept double checking. It's kept making sure, because it doesn't want to get caught out again. So now it's almost inevitable in my mind that there will always be like resurgences of viruses, because it's not like, this doesn't go on and off. It's not like analog. It's not digital, sorry, not digital. It's an analog kind of thing. There are more variables, and it is likely with any virus to have sprung back up again. And I think that's the case in Beijing. It's sprung back up again. 107 cases sounds like a lot, but when you consider there's 1.4 billion Chinese people in China, it's a very small, insignificant number, even compared to the population of Beijing. So I think that they will handle it super fast, super quick. It will be done before you even know it. It'll be quashed, because now they've already had the last 5 months of honing in, and already they already started off, although they started off like a bit like kind of at a disadvantage because they were caught off guard, as was the rest of the world. I think they handled it very well, very quickly, and now they've kind of practiced and honed those skills in, so they're super good at this kind of containment thing. And I think that this rearing up, people would have been expecting this and would have been ready, and I think that as a result of that, it is going to be dealt with super fast, super quickly, and I think it'll be just a small flash in the pan. I don't think there'll be anything more. What do you guys think anyway? Hit me up in the comments, guys. What do you think? Do you think it's going to be a killer second wave, or do you think this is like pretty much like I think it's going to be a flash in the pan? Anyway, guys, until later in the week, I'll catch you later. Bye bye.